Okay, we can start. Okay, 3 times Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Okay, Hari Om, Chema. I'll chant the Shanti mantra, peace invocation first. Om Bhadram Karne Bishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Maksha Bhirya Jatraha Sthirairangai Estuštuvagam Sastanubhi Vyashema Devahitayadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddashravaha Swasti nah Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now 6 disciples approaches the teacher, the Pipala, the Rishi, and ask for the knowledge of Supreme Self. And having fulfilled the precondition of staying 1 year at ashram, along with tapas, brahmacharya and shraddha, higher discipline, the penance and the faith, the Rishi or Guru is pleased with the disciples' austerity and their sincerity and is ready to answer their questions. And the disciples one by one ask the questions. The first question we have seen is pertaining to this world, the cause of the world. And Rishi says this world is emerged from Prajapati or Hiranyagarbha. And explaining this world in a unique way of Rai and Prana by this Upanishad. So 2 principles are constituents of this plural universe, and these 2 principles are effect of this Prajapati or Hiranyagarbha. This is how the cause-effect chain comes about. And having explained the cause of the universe, the first disciple is satisfied. He sits back in his seat. And there's a second disciple, Vaidarbhi. He comes up, approaches the teacher, sits down nearby, and asks the question regarding the supreme devata or supreme conscious being in the body. So the nature of question is circling around the body, circling around our personality, but it goes further beyond the body also, that we have seen, because everything is interconnected. There is no divergent or diverged object which is not connected with others. And what we have in our body is a microscopic scale of what's happening in the microscopic world, universe around. So that's why understanding what's happening within us, within our personality, is very much important to understand what's happening in the world also. Okay. And to explain that phenomena, one quotation is also there, Pindeshu Brahmanda. Whatever is there in this particular personality called Pinda, the small micro, the same phenomena is happening into this Brahmand or universe. Okay. So understanding first our personality is vital, is more important, through which we can understand the macroscopic universe also. And there is some analogy or some kind of a story over here, that the 19 different devatas or 19 different type of powers, they behold this body and they claim as a supreme that because of me only the body is being alive, or body stays in particular functional order. And the prana steps in and says that because of me only this body can function, and that has been proved when the prana is about to leave this body. All other devatas also has to live. Without their knowledge, without their wish, they have to live. And when prana comes back and settles in this body, rest of all devatas, all senses came back to their normal functional positions. And that was proved, that way it was proved that prana is the supreme most among all the different devatas which behold this body. And because of prana alone, other devatas or other senses also can function. Say for example, because of prana only, the eyes can see, ears can hear, mind can think, like that. Okay. The feet can walk, So all organs of perception and all organs of actions, they can function because of prana. So prana is the basic energy, basic electricity, or basic petrol in a car, which is a must in order to function different organs or different components. So that prana subdivides into 5: prana, apana, vyana, udana and samana. And then they takes care of this function, physiological function of this body. But the reach of prana is not limited to this body only. This devatas praise the prana and says that, okay, you are not limited to this body and behold this body only, but you also behold this universe. Okay, and that's where the key is, the prana, what we feel, what I feel within me, that respiratory system, digestive system, circulatory system, excretion, reversing system, what I feel is not limited to that particular, this BMI, okay, body, mind and intellect. Actually, the same prana is also energizing the phenomenal forces also. Because of this prana only, the sun is giving light, moon is also giving light, there is a function of rain, there is a function of thunder, okay. Or we can also add, because of this prana only, the planet circles around the sun, because of this prana only, there are different seasons, Which prana? The same prana we experience in our body. Okay. So that prana and the prana in total are not different. Okay. Because of my current lower awareness or level of consciousness, what I feel, my prana, your prana, your prana, your prana, sun's prana or total prana, like that. It goes that way. I subdivide. Okay. Like the air is one only, but when I breathe in, I call it prana, my. Okay. Okay. So that distinction, which is based on ignorance, which is based on that lower awareness, we need to remove. And for that, understanding is very much essential that there is one prana or one energy functioning through entire universe. Okay. And to praise the prana, the different devatas just mention that there is another beautiful verse over here. Different ways it praises. Before entering into these mantras, I'll explain which are the different areas of praise. See, entire cosmos can be subdivided into three for our better understanding. Okay. It's called Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik and Adhyatmik. Okay. Means the physical world, that's Adi Bhautik, material world. Then Adi Daivik, the phenomenal world. There where the phenomenal forces are. The subtler forces are. And Adhyatmik means the world which I call my world. My world. Means this body and within this body and mind complex, like that. So, what is the message over here? That prana is a common substance or common energy substance because of which all these three worlds, there is a function possible. We have seen in Adhyatmik, in a individual's body and mind, that because of prana only there is a function possible. Without prana, zero function. Just like a dead carcass, Now same thing, now the Shruti is talking about Adi Bhautik and Adi Daivik area. Okay. That different forces in Adi Bhautik or in a material world, what we can say is a gravitational pull, electromagnetic pull, and all other energies, kinetic energy, mechanical energy, electric energy, etc. It's nothing but various different modification of prana only. And in the area of Adi Daivika, that all different phenomenal forces are also nothing but they are functioning because of the prana only. So prana is so much vital, so much important, that alone is beholding this entire universe, say it micro level or macro level. That's the message over here. Okay. Now I'll just chant the mantras, the rest of the mantras over here. Okay, so how the prana is a pivotal, that has been explained by this verse. I'll chant the verse. Ara ivarathana bhau prane sarvam pratishtitam rucho yajumshi samani yagnam kshatram brahmacha sarvam prane pratishtitam. That's the baseline idea. Means everything is established or based on prana. Okay. And what are different the examples, what is based on these pranas? So here says the Rucha Yajunsi Samani, all the Vedas, means all the development in the world, okay, all the Vedas, then yagnam, kshatram, brahmacha, all the yagas, all the rituals, they are also based on the pranas. Kshatram, kshatriyaha, brahmam, brahmanaha, means those who are visionary among mankind, those who are large-hearted and subtle intellect holder. It's called Brahman. Okay, Brahmin doesn't mean that just born in particular lineage, not necessary, but that way. And Kshatriya means those who uphold the religion, who value the religion, value the spirituality, and have enough power to protect the religion if needed, or propagate the religion also. Propagate the truth, rather. Okay, to protect the truth and propagate the truth, or maybe become instrument to propagate the truth. So, these are the vital aspects in our society. The rituals means any kind of a spiritual practice which energize us spiritually, energize us morally. Okay, these all are also based on prana. Means vital organs of our society are also based on prana. Okay, that also pratishtitam iman prane. And the one example is given by Shruti Mata. What is the example? Ara iva rathanabhav. Now example is very, very important. Like there is a wheel and there is a hub of the wheel, and the rim and the hub is connected by the spokes. Various many spokes. And this is how the entire mechanism is complete. So there is a rim, there is a hub, and there is a spoke. Okay. So this prana is like a spokes. That's a connector. Without that, the two components cannot be connected. And unless there is a connection, there can be a function as a wheel, as a complete function. So the prana in our society or in a samashti total universe acts as a connector.
So then what is the hub?
The hub can be the Vedas, hub can be the vision. Okay. Here the point is the prana is the base also, and prana is a connector also. Connector of two components. Because of prana only the proper paraphernalia can function.
So prana could be the hub as well as the spoke?
Yes, could be. So if you put Veda, so again the functional aspect of the Veda is nothing but prana only, that we have seen earlier. Okay. And the rim can be compared with different events, phenomena of the world in the total level and different experiences at the individual level. Okay, that way.
And I assume prana would be also the force making the wheel turn.
Yes. Yes, this is how we can elaborate in example, and through example we can understand the significance of the prana. Because wheel is there, wheel is made in effect. Now, in order to turn, we need another force. So that invisible force is nothing but prana. Okay. So, through example, we can understand how important the prana is. Okay. And down the road, this prana upasana has been prescribed by Shruti, by Guru. And before the Shruti prescribes the prana upasana, we are going through right now the prana importance or glory of prana. We are trying to understand. Because that sense of glory, sense of importance is very much necessary before we undertake that particular project or that particular action. If we have clarity, yes, that particular object or project or work is important, is really good to have, then our entire being will be absorbed into that particular action, and this process is not for only one time, 5 minutes or 10 minutes only. It can go lifelong. It, of course, not only lifelong, but it also demands higher and higher attention, sincerity, consistency. So for that, it's very much vital that I understand the importance of undergoing that particular spiritual practice. If I'm not convinced about the efficacy of that particular spiritual practice, the importance of that spiritual practice, I won't undertake. If it is a one time or twice, it's okay. But it's like imposing the penance on myself, self-disciplined way for a long time. If I need to undergo, it is a must that I understand it properly, the significance of it, the efficacy of it, what's the result I can get, everything, And that way our intellect will suggest that yes, let's do it. Let's invest our time in this particular practice. Okay. And because this practice is also subtle, because prana is very subtle, we need to readjust our instruments and fine-tune them so that we can catch, that particular subtle thread of prana. I remember Swami Vivekananda. He has given a lot of talks in the West. One of the very famous talks is on Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga is nothing but this prana upasana. Okay. And he says that in this universe everything is interconnected. So much so that if you just pluck one particular flower or a leaf, it will affect remote most star in the galaxy. Because things are interconnected. And what is the connecting factor? This prana. This invisible force, prana. Okay. And this prana, upasana, if one does, naturally one will be out of one's own misery based on this body. Because all the miseries ultimately are coming based on the body. And naturally the mind which is hooked up with this body. Okay. So it is like subtlifying the process. This process will make one subtle and subtle and subtle and subtle. We'll see further the upasana of prana. But speaking of Raja Yoga, I remember one story Swami Vivekananda also says over there. Very interesting story. That a king was annoyed with his minister for some reason. And king is annoyed, his king is annoyed. No questions asked like that. And he didn't want to kill him just like that because he has served, the minister has served for long. But what king does that he just just imprisons the minister into one tower. The huge long tower. Okay. And tower didn't have any stairs. Okay. Or he broke down the stairs. So what happened? What would happen that the minister is just will staying there, up there, without food and water, over the time would die. Okay, that was the idea behind just putting him on the top of the tower. But minister was clever, and mostly it's the case that, ministers are cleverer than kings. Okay. So, while he was being sentenced this way, secretly he talked to his wife, okay, and told her that, okay, bring these 5-6 items with you tonight, because you never know, today king will say, okay, he will die naturally, but tomorrow king's mind change and say, okay, just bring him down, we'll behead him. Anything can possible. So the minister says to his wife secretly, okay, bring these many things tonight, okay, at where the tower is. And his wife obediently just picked that many items what he has suggested, and he went at that particular night to the tower, and they could talk because it was high, but still they could talk. So the minister told, okay, then you have insect, you brought insect, says yes. Okay, you brought honey, says yes. Okay, so now put drop of honey at the insect's mouth, when there is an antenna, and just put it in a upward direction. Okay, and tie a very, very thin thread at the leg of this insect.
I can see what the story is.
Yes. And then by the smell of the honey, the insect goes upward, and along with the thread also goes. Okay, the thread is now his minister's hand eventually. So then the minister says, okay, now tie a very thin thread, another little more thicker, at the end of this thinnest thread. Again he pulls the thread. Now he says, okay, tie the little more thicker thread, and he ties up. Now tie the thin rope. Okay, she ties, and again he pulls up. Then now you tie the thick rope. Okay, and she ties the thick rope. He pulls up. He ties the thick rope over there in the top, and with the thick rope he comes down and then escapes.
With his, with his wife.
With his, of course.
He leaves her in the tower.
Yes. Yes, at least the kingdom, he's out of the kingdom, So that story Swami Vivekananda says and tells that, okay, that the thinnest most, the thread, the very first thread is nothing but our prana. Our prana, what we experience. The thinnest most thread is the prana, our prana, individual prana. With help of this thinnest most thread, we need to hook the rather more thicker or rather more broader pranas, and this is how we need to go further and further in this prana identifying or prana holding journey. Okay, and eventually we get one with, or we get hooked to that total prana which is governing this universe. Okay, it is connected, but this way, because it's subtle. Even though it's told, we cannot see it, we cannot experience it. No, but you have to work towards, and working towards like a goldsmith. Very subtle way, very minute details we have to gather, and with persistence we have to do spiritual practice for long, and then we can identify the connection of individual prana and total. Okay, so that upasana is prescribed by Upanishad. Not only this upasana, over here is a prana upasana is prescribed in Prashna Upanishad. Elsewhere, different other upasanas also be prescribed, But upasana is a must. Then and then, our intellect can be subtle enough to understand the attribute-less consciousness principle. That's the bottom line. And because without upasana it's very hard or not possible almost, the Upanishad is prescribing upasanas a lot. Okay. The higher spiritual practice or a higher kind of a meditation, okay, with attributes is been prescribed a lot. Here this is only meditation, only type of a meditation, what we can see is, okay, that way should be seen, okay. So with that I'll also chant another one, that how the prana is being praised. That next mantra, Prajapatiscarati garbhe tvameva pratijayase tubhyam prana prajastvima balim haranti yaf prane pratitishthati. Again, same thing. He says, all the senses says that you are Prajapati, you are Brahma, you are the creative power. We can supply, you are the power due to which this universe is being maintained, and you are the power by which, when there is a time, it goes to destruction stage also. Okay. And in general it is called Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Okay. In general, but it's not literally, it can be taken literally, because like say the Shiva is not only force of destruction, okay, but Shiva is also the force to create spiritual force in us. Okay. The Shiva is the force of auspiciousness also. Okay. But to symbolize, to generalize, it's called, okay, destruction of the universe or destruction of the ignorance by the Shiva. Okay. The point over here is that prana is a force behind this functioning of universe, creation of universe, and destruction of the universe also. Okay. And the same prana, garbhe tvameva charati, same prana, because of that prana only, the child takes birth. Okay. And there is a growth, what we see growth in a jiva, growth in a child of any species, that because of prana only. Okay. Tubhyam imaf pranaf balim haranti. And all oblations are also being given to you prana only. This is a praise going on, Like and the senses or different devatas, don't look back to just praise. They just praise freely. And it's not flattering. it's fact. Okay. Means tubhyam praja balim haranti. Okay. What it means, all the offering goes to you ultimately. All offerings means, say, if I eat food, that goes to prana. If I see something, actually that also is oblation to the prana. If there is a hearing process, that is a oblation to prana. Like, yat karma karomi tat shambho tavaradhana. There is an expression like that. Whatever action I do, that is my oblation to you, O Lord, O Shiva, like that, So here, the same idea has been expressed over here. Okay. Atma tvam girijamati prana sahachara puja te vishayopabhoga rachana nidra samadhi sthiti. It goes like that. And then finally says that yadyat karma karomi tat shambho tavaradhana. Means any actions I do, okay, I want to remain conscious, or I am conscious that all actions are nothing but oblation to you, O Lord Shiva. Okay. And same idea has been given over here in terms of oblation to pranas. Okay. So, yaha pranai pratitishthati. That's why everything is based on prana. Okay. So, prana alone is, if there is a prana, everything is. In absence of prana, nothing is. That's the baseline. Okay. And few more word of praise in next couple of slokas, couple of mantras. I'm not chanting, I just tell. Devanam vahnitam asi means any ritual, any spiritual practice in which there is an oblation given. An oblation is given to fire, and fire is called the courier service, divine courier service. Fire takes that oblation to particular god. Okay. And this service doesn't fail, never fail. It goes there only, particular destination only. So ultimately, the destination of the oblation is you only, he says. Okay. So when that highest awareness or highest thought I carry and perform any action, say ordinary or type of spiritual, naturally it becomes the highest result giver. And what is the highest result? In the relative world, highest result is that I connect with the universe. Okay. And I break out the cage of this individuality. Just only having awareness with this body, conscious with this body only, and saying it as I. I can break out the cage of this particular type of individuality. And this prana also Rishi's life. Rishinam satyam charitam tvamasi. Those masters or those higher seekers, they seek the Lord or they seek the perfection in their life. They seek the truth. Actually, you are that truth. Okay. Or because of you only, they can seek the truth. Both. Okay. So, ordinary functions, any spiritual or religious rituals, and seeking of truth is possible because of you. It's like that. Okay. So that stuti or the praising goes on that way.
So a question could be,
okay,
what is not prana?
Yes. What is not prana? That's true. And over there, what you can see in this relative world, there is a distinction, and distinction is such that plurality is there. Okay, plurality is accepted, one, because we are, our thought line is in that line, that particular realm of plurality, So, in the midst of this plural, different events and functions, what I see is a single force, okay, single force, which is called prana. Okay. Other than prana, what I see is a modification of the prana. Okay. See, for example, there is a manyness also, at the same time it's a modification. Okay. See, for example, the hearing power is prana, seeing power is prana, tasting power is prana. So even though there is a plurality, even though there is a different type of function and different type of capacity also, type of power is different, hearing, seeing is different altogether, So function point of view, there is a plurality. Okay, but behind the curtain there is a one single power. That way it should be seen.
Actually, it's quite interesting to say that prana is one and many at the
Yes,
same time.
exactly.
So we get out of duality, of the opposition.
Yes. है ना? There is one and multifold. Okay, it's a multifold. So instead of getting caught into force 1 and force 2, and my power and your power, my power and the power of sun or world, identify with this power called prana, which is universal, which is also functioning this particular BMI also. Okay, so even though I appreciate the plurality, even though I accept the plural world and various different kind of forces, at the same time my awareness should be ideally, or I should cultivate that awareness with spiritual practice also. I should cultivate that this prana alone is in and through all different objects, and this prana alone is manifesting in form of various different kind of forces. So, for example, gravitational force and hearing power are at causal level, or actually they are a prana, but both forces are different at effect level. Okay, so here that principle comes to application, that cause is one, effects are many. Okay, and effect is nothing but cause only in a manifold. So what we see in a cause-effect relation elsewhere, here also we can see. Okay, and
In the Bible,
okay,
speak of Elohim, which is a plural, but which is actually conjugated at the singular. So it's as if the noun would be plural, but the verb would be singular.
okay, this is how it is addressing.
Yeah, paradox.
Paradox. Okay, yes. Yes, the same thing.
Like they is powerful.
Okay,
Something like that.
gotcha. Interesting. So appreciating the plurality, at the same time noticing the singular power or singularity across the plurality is the objective, looks like. So same here also. Now it's coming setting sun, so it's really coming to my way. This is how the prana is a universal force or single force which is functioning through all the macro objects and the micro objects both. Okay, and the same thing is again expressed over here in verse 11. I just chant Vratrasvam pranaika rishi ratta vishvasya stapatihi vayamadyasya datarah pitatvam matarishvanah. So, hey prana, again addressing to the prana, you are ekarishihi, ekarshi, tvam vratyah asi. Actually these all are ekarishi and vratya and all, these are part of the rituals in which the oblation, say for example, if I say that the first beneficiary of any special event would be like head of the event, or in general say king, so he's been given the first that particular fruit or prasadam, and then others are being distributed. So same way here also is saying that when there is a oblation given into the havana, the very first havana, very first oblation is given to you ultimately. even though type of havanam and oblation can be different. Oblation might be given to a particular devata, okay, but the force behind that devata is yours only, so actually it goes to you. We say in general, sarva deva namaskaram keshavam prati gacchati, means I bow down to different devatas, okay, and different devatas, different deities are in front, and I'm bowing down to them, but actually I have that understanding, that awareness, that shraddha, that ultimately that prostration goes to Bhagavan Narayana. It goes to Bhagavan Narayana. And same phenomena or same thing also is when we do namaste to everybody, each other. When I say pranam, namaste, so its namaste is not to individual literally. Ultimately is the namaste or pranama is to the antaryami Paramatma who resides in one's heart, in heart of everybody.
Ma used to say the same thing. People said, what happens if we prostrate to somebody who's not a genuine saint? Do we get a bad effect? Well, Ma said, as long as you prostrate to God, not to the person, then there's no problem.
There's no problem at all, yes. So when I prostrate to a person, or even when I do pranama to any individual comes in front, so am I doing wrong? But no. Why? How it should be seen, how it should be considered that yes, I am doing pranama to Narayana residing in one's heart. Full stop. Because the same question also appears that other person is wicked. Other person is having a very low habits, low lifestyle. So how can I do pranam to that person? So over there, this particular idea, this particular higher idea should be kept in the mind that yes, my pranams are ultimately to the Narayana residing in this heart. I may do pranam to that individual also based on the merits or based on the importance I carry about that person. That's fine. Okay, because that's also the case. Not like, okay, I had nothing to do with the individual, only Bhagavan. No. Okay, based on the sense of merit I have, I may have that sense of gratitude towards that individual, but it's not it. Ultimately, it goes to Narayana. It goes to God. That bhava, that awareness should be there while doing pranam. Okay, then it's okay, And that's why when a person in front is not meritorious, so naturally we don't feel like doing pranam. We don't feel like doing namaste. So that time, that higher awareness will help us that okay, there is a God residing in his or her heart. So naturally we can do pranam there. Okay. So that idea, okay, is reflecting from this Upanishadic Upadesh, the teaching of Upadesh, teaching of the Upanishad, So over here the same idea, that prana is the ultimate oblation taker. We may give oblation to various different gods. We may give oblation to the first to this particular devata. Say first is like an example. Nowadays, that first pranama or first vandana goes to Ganeshji, for example, Ganesh Bhagavan, Ganapati Bhagavan, and then the another Bhagavan, then Kula Devata, Sthana Devata, etc. It goes on, and then Mukhya, the main deity or Bhagavan of that particular ritual. Okay. So then one might be confused that okay, what's going on? Whom I am to pray? And then the further line of confusion goes in that line that if I pray first to this God, that God will go feel bad. and will curse me. And then I'm frightened. Oh my God, what will happen? Will he protect then? The first one will protect me from the second one's curse? All this, that thinking, the baseless thinking just creeps on, and person is confused. Okay. So over there, this main idea, the baseline idea should be there all the time, that even though my first pranama is to Bhagavan Ganesha, the second is to him, third is to Mataji, and then finally to my, the main devata of the particular ritual, everything goes to one Narayana only. Even though there is a plural or there is an order, but actually behind the curtain there is no order, there is no plural. With that bhava, I do my particular practice. Okay.
Is there a strict identity between prana and God?
If we look at the context of the Upanishad, there is a difference. The God is seen as type of force. Okay, over here, Deva. Now I'll use the word Deva. Deva is used the type of force.
So, which is informed by prana itself.
Yes. And the prana is the force in general. The energy in general. Here, the Deva is a type of energy.
And the source of prana? What is the source of prana?
That will come further, later on. But we can see that nothing is beyond prana in this relative world. So naturally the source of prana can be the consciousness principle. But that will come also later on. Yes, that how it is like that, So, in relative world, my understanding should be clear. That there is no conflict. There is no contradicting forces. There is no contradicting energy whatsoever. Everything must be knitted well in my psyche and connected ultimately to the prana. And when I live or do particular practice with this awareness, it can become prana upasana. That is upasana. I just remain aware in this particular awareness, okay, and live or act. Say it my regular activities, or say it some special spiritual practice. Of course, a sadhaka needs to perform a special spiritual practice, yes, but apart from spiritual practice, my daily routine actions also helps me unify, my understanding about the energy or prana. That's also necessary. Okay. So my average awareness about the energy would be this way, ideally. Okay. And while performing particular spiritual practice, which is called upasana over here, also my understanding would be ideally this way, what has been given over here in this Upanishad. Okay. So, giving a lot of importance, mahatva buddhi to the prana just makes us more clear that okay, that's the area of worship, that's the area of discovery. Okay. And in this mantra, the ritualistic aspects are nothing but oblation to you only. You are Ekarishi. So different kind of rituals are there, in which various rituals demand various different kind of homakundas, the type of objects required, this which is called havya dravya, and different kind of oblations. So no matter what ritual is, actually the oblation goes to you. Okay. So that point also. Okay, so I think the same idea is been given with help of or in the area of the rituals, okay, which I am not elaborating much. And having praised this way, that you are not only beholding this body, but you are also beholding, maintaining this universe, the devas, he says, Ya te tanurvachi pratisthita, ya shrotre, ya cha chakshushi, ya cha manasi santata, shivam tam kuru motkramihi. Means, yes, you preside over the hearing power, you preside over the thinking power. Like we say Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti and Gnana Shakti. Okay, 3 type of power. Based on type, based on the function, the 3 types have been given. Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti and Gnana Shakti. All 3 Shaktis are nothing but you prana. In the language of devotion, these 3 Shaktis are being connected with the goddess. Okay, say Gayatri Devi, or say, the Shodashi Ma, so any, like say Amba Ma, like that, is connected with that also. Okay. In the Upanishad, it's connected purely with the prana. So you can see that the same idea is percolated in our spiritual practice as well. Okay. Same idea has been prescribed different way, or rather more palatable way, by the great sages, great masters. Okay. And having said this different devas says, please be quiet, please sit down, have a glass of water, please don't stand up and don't go. Because if you go, we have to go as well. Okay. So that request also is made by the senses. Okay. So what we can see that, okay, that stuti or the praising of the prana is over. It's quite clear that who is supreme. There is no doubt, no ambiguity. And this prana is pervading and beholding entire universe. So in the next mantra says, Mateva Putran Rakshasva. Like a mother protects and nourishes the child, same way please you protect and nourish us. Okay. That's the request from the devas to prana. Now if you see in our religious life, the same request we do to our gods or goddess, that you are nourisher, you are nourishing us, you please protect us like a mother protects a child. Okay. So same request is done over here also. And that way, this particular query is also over. So 3 questions. The who behold this body, so 19 components. Who is the supreme? The prana. And what is the role of the prana, okay, in this body and the universe also we have seen. Importance of the prana. I guess it's not that great idea. Still coming, son. Okay. I think we can keep it till here. Okay. Anyway, second query is over. So, one section and section 2, both sections are taken care of. 2 questions and 2 sections are that way over. Okay. You can do Purnamada. Or any question? No. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Jai Ma.